show now.
What's your job?
Like this.
What's up, Bobby B? Trying to convince Bobby to quit his job.
At least I have some.
That's it. As soon as you do that, that's when you start running.
Go ahead and tell him, Bob.
Why? Did he do that? Oh, you did? Why? It's probably because you were coming there with no sleep all the time.
Stupidest thing ever. I'll really say that.
Did you pull up?
I'm running around just for a second.
One card.
Well, Marco was where it was.
We're good to go.
What?
Can we get one for Robert?
Now?
Big ace.
You got 1 and 48.
No, wait, here it is. It's right here. It's right here. Right.
Wait, use the reader.
Here it is.
Actually, Mark is the only one that can pull out a card out of the deck.
It's not about
Know
the
what
luck.
it is all the time.
Train has a little bit.
All right, are you
He didn't hear you.
I realize that. I see that his headphones are off now.
I think you just deleted it.
Audio check, audio.
I was thinking about trying to delete most of them. I'm
See,
like,
look at this. We don't have the
You put them on the table next to
dinner.
yeah.
Well, Robert already Corey, I don't know what his story.
I knew I was going to say
Huh?
Wow, that sucks, dude.
How far did you win?
Audio check, audio check.
Who's the dealer by now?
I am.
We had the most, like, no one got serious
Doubles
monopoly
off.
I've ever had. Oh, yeah. Airplane mode, guys.
I think I just saw red.
The trades, like,
Robert said it was.
like, they were like strategic and serious, like, oh man.
Oh, Robert sent a text.
You have your phone on you, sir?
Hey, so,
Are we doing that now? No. I didn't know if we were doing that.
He will be here in 6 or 7 minutes.
Or he's walking right in the door.
That was probably 6 or 7 minutes ago.
It's a nice day. Nobody wants to know.
So nice.
Why did he just walk in?
yes, the second time that
No, I haven't heard anything.
Bobby's buddies with them. Where's your buddy Corey?
You guys picked for Robert and
Are you
Corey?
going to look for another job? Or are you just going to play poker?
What are you going to do, Bob? Tell them what you're going to do, Bob. And what?
Pimp himself out. This is Beaver look like.
Nice.
What would you, any other option?
There's no shame, man.
Not finally off that. That's right, you are.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Obama.
Wait, you get laid off of work?
Yeah.
We'll be getting things going in 2 minutes. There's Robert.
Hey, what do you do? I'm looking for player people. What skills do you have?
I'm in sales and
Never been on this side of the table.
There he is. No sales.
sales, customer service,
I need like
not
a
really labor.
HTML developer.
Oh, I was
.NET.
trying to do a school thing.
Good.
Well, no, I still
I need like a utility person to do. You can do like build newsletters. You can send out like 1,200 newsletters a year, and because basically our management system builds a newsletter, but it doesn't. It's not perfect. So you just gotta tweak and stuff.
We'll talk. I'm gonna try this poker thing out for a little while.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Something like that.
Trying to get around the game.
God, what the hell's your problem?
Good luck.
Second guy to show.
Is that
okay?
Yeah. No, I need to.
I must have not. Yeah, they came in the time you
Got rushed to the hospital.
I just trust you.
Oh God! You know, last time somebody had to go to the hospital, you realize what happened with Marco the next day.
What? I missed it all.
Okay.
He's making a joke.
I just had shock pain in my whole arm.
That's not good.
My dad just
You guys ready in the commentator booth?
I'm ready.
We're ready.
Okay, actually, I'm going to come in and turn down the table a little bit.
My friend. Everybody makes it like
I don't think I can embrace some great.
all the digital stuff, all the web stuff. I mean, I was all the I don't. You know, I don't like they made me go to the hospital.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, we're going to get things started here. Players, are you ready? It is really loud. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are starting game number 5 for Season 4 Chase the Bracelet. Blind start at 2550. We're going to try to keep track of our chip counts tonight. 18-minute blind, starting stack 6,000. Our point leader coming into this game is Suited Dan. Yay! And we'll send it over to the commentator booth with Chris and Paul to take it away.
Still early? My chip count is 6,000.
Welcome everybody to www.poker. Like Tony said, this is our 5th game that we're having today.
The short stack.
Who do you see coming out on top today, Paul?
Well, Paul Moskowitz made a prediction before we started. He was either going to be first out or win tonight. So.
Well, Paul makes all kinds of crazy
Action is on Bobby.
predictions, but we'll see how he goes today.
We might have a big hand brewing here on the first one.
Raised to 125.
We see
Got ace, jack, ace, king, queen, nine.
125 to go. Cards are showing. It's a different screen.
Oh, yeah, everything's different.
I can't switch the cameras.
No.
Oh, man.
Somebody's got a phone on.
Right, I'm at.
Oh, there it is. All right. Hold on. We got a live phone.
slight technical difficulties.
Looks like you get a text right now.
Girlfriend's locked up in the margin raise. 4 1/4 to play now.
Oh, Dan, you can't win if you're not in the hand. Oh, I told my quarter. Dang, so you're going to win this hand.
He just wanted his chip count report to be accurate.
Corey calls the 125.
Raise. Re-raise. Fold.
That's what I like to see.
So Corey raised to.
Corey raised at 425, female raised at 15.
Bobby raised. I called. Max raised.
Max re-raised first time.
Bobby re-raised.
All right, this is too confusing, Paul.
Yeah, this isn't right up here, Tony. This is not mucking cards. When I'm calling it the muck cards, now he's mucked for some reason.
Right, hang on one
He
sec.
still has his cards.
Nah,
Damn it. Turn around, hold the clock.
we apologize for the technical difficulties.
There we go.
We were trying to make things better for everybody, and it's not appearing to work out.
Seems kind of like Robert might have had a hand in this.
All right, we'll go back to the old way of doing it for now.
Chris, can you guys see Max's cards?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Max's cards are live up against B Million.
Oh, you got queens.
Looks like B Million. Bobby folds the ace king to the pocket queens.
No, it was the opposite.
Well, wait, that
The
one.
queens folded to the pocket. The ace,
Really?
king. Yeah.
Is that true?
How did that hand play out, Train?
Bobby won. Max muck queen.
Okay. So Bobby's raise did take that hand down.
I guess there would be.
Butt moves and action on Corey first. Tap.
Actually, I got teams last night too.
Oh, now there's all American.
Theirs are all. You know what I mean?
Hey, why don't you quit preaching, man?
I'm starting to.
This isn't time for lessons. This is time to. We're playing against each
Why
other.
do you get rid of him? Why don't you jam on? He would fold it. He won't go out there.
Yeah, okay.
Dan knows.
Folds over to Moskowitz.
At 9 o'clock.
When Dan knows the nuts for sure.
Are we going to work tonight, buddy?
Should you be at work tonight?
Yeah,
I'm going to go with you.
I actually may have to.
What else you got?
I'm running good. I'm running so good. Yesterday.
Marco calls.
I want a credit card roll.
So Dan folds.
I heard
Kuterfella calls.
yesterday's trade.
B million checks his option.
Yeah. I had a big
Checking 7 deuce in the big blind.
Oh, you had to play a regular lot, huh?
I found a spot right in front of Harry Buffalo. It's like,
Yeah, because I was going to come up, but then...
Marco in there with the 8-9 offsuit block stop pair.
Marco bets 150.
Definitely sounds like something you would do.
Yeah, but on busy nights like that, they limit Valley to 7 star.
Mark calls.
and you're not 7-star.
Yeah.
6 3/4.
Marco with a better position here.
Marco bets 300.
Probably take it down.
And Marco across a blind person with those sunglasses. Can't see out the tops, the sides, or the bottoms.
We've made fun of Mark about their glasses for years.
Button moves versus act as Rob Newman.
But there's so many diamonds. The diamond is so easy to hit.
They were giving away a ton of food on the diamond lounge.
Like,
no, this was exceptionally good from what I've heard.
That's what I'm saying.
Ribs,
It's more. It's not even really about the money.
filet
It's more about
sandwiches.
relaxing and not losing all that money that got him there.
There was some kind of slot
Yeah,
tournament
you
or
have
something
played
going on.
one
during
game,
the
2
time.
minutes.
Paul Moskowitz with Jack Green suited here.
That's why I was crowded with all that.
So it's just
Concert,
fun.
Jovi, and
I think he played one.
Moskowitz calls 50.
too much going on.
Yeah, after the Bon Jovi
I could not-
concert,
I
there
don't
was
ever play
a lot of young people coming in.
Young to you.
See what Mark does with ace-9 here on the button.
You see Ryan Postic?
Mark raises to 150.
Did I see what?
Ryan Postic that plays in my house.
Up at the shoot?
Him and his wife had tickets to actually meet and greet the band.
No, I didn't see
He's got a
it.
picture of him and his wife.
Call by Moskowitz.
John Bond.
Paul just nonchalantly calls, doesn't care what the flop is.
You need to see some of that.
Have we been next to each other like every? I think
And Paul flops trips. And Mark flopping the 9.
Both players
Nice
check.
airplane mode.
Nice check there by Mark.
Paul bets 150.
He's liable to get a call here.
See if Mark believes him for the jack. He does not.
Mark calls 150.
Paul
Moskowitz bets 350.
Paul trying to get a little bit more out of him.
Yeah, Mark makes a nice fold there.
And then with the jack nine.
Paul doesn't double barrel bluff very often.
Paul is a loose player.
I think I folded.
This is a funny song. Paul lose, she lose.
I'm never going there.
You said that last time you could be hit there.
Action on Paul. Moskowitz to act first.
There's a thing called bearings.
I gotta tell you something. I mean, I'm not gonna do it right now.
I don't.
I got
If it's bad beats, I don't hear. I'm serious.
nasty.
I don't want to hear.
Mark.
It's like,
Another
I've heard
ace.
every bad beat.
So I was at an aggressive table too, and they're in there. No, I'm not gonna tell you. I'm not gonna tell you the bad.
This
beats.
is when everything outside.
I'm gonna tell you everything except the bad. beats. It's when I raise pre-flop with aces and the whole freaking table falls.
I wonder what those guys made.
Mark bets 150.
Well, any other hand you bet
Yeah,
$12.
take it down.
It's 5 or 6 callers.
That's why you win. And when someone bets,
All players fold.
Takes the calls.
Paul, just go play blackjack.
Action over to Ed Wurgler.
Paul, go play blackjack. I got these women with 6 bones up their hands.
The blackjack table?
Yeah.
That'd make me feel at home.
Mark, I think
those glasses are chewable for my grandfather.
I know, I was thinking that too. But I wasn't going to be rude.
Mark with another ace.
So this time suited Dan also has an ace 9.
See what Dan does it.
Suited Dan calls 50.
Mark lets his go.
Rob Miller raises to 175.
I'm fairly certain suited Dan will make a call here.
Suited Dan calls. Suited Dan checks.
Dan flops his ace and checks it to Bobby.
Bobby with a gut shot here.
Bobby bets 200. Suited Dan raises to 600.
Should be enough to tell Bobby to let it go.
Yeah, looks like Bobby wants to try and represent something here.
Raise to 1600 and a call
And
by Suited Dan.
does not believe him.
Suited Dan checks.
I don't want to use it.
Let's see if Bobby can do it again. Fire one more time.
Hold them up accidentally.
I think if he makes a big bet here, Dan might fold.
Bobby bets 1700.
Maybe not.
Dan doesn't seem to be afraid of anything.
Suited Dan calls.
We can't see the river.
Jack of diamonds on the river.
Magic
Oh,
on
that's
the river.
ugly for Dan.
I don't think Dan can call out the all-in here.
Got you covered by a little bit.
He thinks his ace is good the whole way.
If you try moving that over some of the other cards.
There we go.
Thanks, Mark.
You're welcome.
Suited Dan folds.
And with the jack on the river, Bobby takes the win.
Bobby hits his 4 outer.
Bobby shows a 10 of spades.
Sometimes those crazy bluffs do fail.
Bobby talking a lot of smack.
Mark, did you hear it? Had to have been louder down there.
Probably you call 2 streets like
It sounded like this.
Dan doesn't seem very happy about that last hand.
Oh, well, yeah, that's what I think. That's the only thing I didn't think you'd do it, an ace.
Action on max stacks first.
Mark
With
with
aces.
aces now. Finally found that other one to connect.
Dan's playing games face up.
Suited Dan calls 50.
You gave me 10, I wasn't that far off.
If I had it,
Raised to 175 by Mark Cucciafello.
Yeah.
He might get a little action from suited Dan with the king 9 suited if he's stealing a little bit here.
So Dan's got the chips in his hand already.
Suited Dan calls.
I just thought you had
2 players to the flop.
King on the flop here would send Dan running, I think. He's got a straight draw. 2 of the 8s are already gone.
Mark bets 300. Suited Dan calls.
Now he needs a jack too. He picked up more outs.
Just increased a little bit. I don't think Mark knows what to think here. I think he's just trying to...
Mark pushes all in.
Because he thinks you're on a draw, Dan.
Suited Dan folds.
Be thankful you didn't call him.
Button moves. Mark Odak first.
It's a long comeback from here, Dan.
He still has 2,050 in his hand.
I don't know where your brain sits and lies during your off time, but
Oh, at the Children's Museum. My wife was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like,
No, don't tell us. Don't tell us.
Did you see these babies? They had babies.
Suited Dan with Ace King now.
Up against Mark's Jack Queen suited.
Suited Dan throws out a 500 chip. 300. 300's the bet.
It's just a minute.
She's like,
I think Dan might have raised himself out of this one.
There's a lot of hands behind. Yeah, that's comically
He's
correct.
not going to get any action on that big raise.
No, if he didn't get action out of Mark with a Jack Queen, he's not going to get action from anybody.
Oh, because
Although we might see Max call. I'd love to see Max call here. Just to take a stab at it, see what the flop brings.
Suited takes the blinds. 4 minutes, 45 seconds left in the blinds. Blinds are still 25-50.
Suited diamonds, though. Did you ever Jack 10?
it was awesome. I wish they would.
Bobby's still bragging about hitting his 4-outer on the river for the gut shot. Just sticking a needle in Dan again.
Moskowitz bets 50 or calls 50.
When?
At the flop.
Dude, if you were jam, I had no choice but to pull, but...
Max calls from the small blind. Marco checks his
No, I
option.
said post flop.
Well, I know you love chasing my cards, like, flush it in. So, I thought it was either that or it was an ace. It's a little thing. You never had
Call with top pair.
Marco with second pair.
We've never had ace.
Checks over to Moskowitz.
Not there. Not in
Marco bets here a lot, and he didn't bet there.
We're going to try and get you though.
the history of poker has the end of one's ace king. I mean,
Paul bets 150.
well, once you get it, I would love to.
Takes it down.
Marco didn't hesitate to fold.
That's crazy.
Second pair.
I've never had pocket queens.
there's 1,326 hands.
There's 6 combos.
No, don't wash them.
Kutrafello to act first.
Put them back.
Oh, almost can get cards.
I'm an undercover nerd.
Well, Mark got 2 of mine once.
I've got a feeling when Suited Dan finds out what Bobby had
Mark
that hand,
my
we're going to be
cards
here
on
about
that
it for
hand.
about 2 weeks.
Absolutely.
Just wait till you get ace jack again. So just wait to shove till you get
Mark with another
Oh,
big
my hand
ace.
against you? Yeah, King Jack.
Suited Dan with a King Queen.
Mark
Why
calls
not?
50.
King Queen is a pretty troublesome hand sometimes.
But you wanted
Absolutely
to
agree.
It feels like when you have it and you don't flop anything, you definitely have to be able to give it away.
so the hand wouldn't have really played any differently.
Marco raises to 350.
Marco raises the ace-3.
Suited Dan calls.
Marco wouldn't call with second pair a hand or two ago, but this is raising with ace-3 here.
It costs Mark 300 more,
Mark folds.
but he gets rid of the ace-10.
I will shove it.
I might shut on you.
Yeah.
Well, no.
I better check.
And
both players
Marco flops trips, and Mark would have most likely busted him here.
8 of spades on the turn.
Dan
He was
might
just
call with the
stretching.
flush draw. I'm
Marco
not
throws
sure.
out a yellow chip for 1,000.
I don't know. That's too much of his stack, I think.
I
to
had you raise an ace, but I'm getting
call. Mark folded the best hand, and he knows it.
I didn't show anything.
Dan did show the king of
It's not
spades.
going to read. I'll look. Full house.
So 8.
B million to act first.
Another guess?
Whatever that card was, I don't remember.
Fire your hearts.
Sure.
Blinds are up to 5,100.
Did it end up? Were
Crane
they
said
able
that
to?
river was a 3 of hearts, which would have filled Marco up.
Yes, however, it couldn't fill Marco up because Marco did in fact
Oh,
have
yep. Sorry about that. Yeah, that was the 1 minute warning.
5 of hearts. 5 of hearts, Chris.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not worried about what it was.
Oh, that was the last card?
Paul with a pocket pair against Corey with
Didn't get there.
Big Slick. Let's see what he does.
Corey raises to 100. How much is that?
175.
175 by Corey.
Paul just afraid to see flops, I think.
And that.
Kucherfella calls.
Mark makes a call with 6-7 suited. He closes blind.
Paul would have flopped a set here.
Mark flops his gut shot draw. See if Corey makes it now.
Corey
doesn't make
checks.
a continuation.
Mark checks.
I would like to have seen Mark make a bet there when Corey checked that flop.
Corey bets 200. Mark folds. Bet moves for sack will be Corey.
We should probably expect a raise out of Rob here. Looks like a call.
Yep. Robert just calls 100. Marco calls 100. Suited Dan calls 100. Mark Kucherfella calls 100. Bobby checks his option.
Marco with top pair.
Robert reaching for chips.
275.
Rob with absolutely nothing.
270 by 5 bet.
Rob just not afraid to bet here. Love it.
Marco calls. We're down to 2 players.
B-million hand did not fold. There you go. Rob hits second pair now.
Robert bets 600.
Marco's a little worried about his kicker, but I still think he'll make this call.
Marco calls.
Marco doesn't fold top pair very often. And Rob hits runner.
1100 bet by Robert.
He may have bet a little too much.
See if Marco's weak kicker saves him here.
You say he may have bet a little. No.
Marco calls.
Oh, so in the worst way.
I was trying to buy it.
I was trying to buy it and ran into it.
Bobby knows all about that.
Nice, Robert.
Robert back first.
Oh, man. I heard the little clanking or something.
I know. I was good either way.
That's the problem with ace rag. You just never know when the ace flops.
Definitely, you can see that Marco was afraid to make a raise there. That rag just maybe should have used some chloroform on it or something against Robert.
Did you plan that here?
Marco with ace 10 suited.
Marco calls 100.
That's what I thought. I was like,
Corey checks his option.
We have our wildest player against our most methodical player here.
Oh, this could get interesting. Marco with top pair. Corey with second pair and a flush draw. And Marco checks top pair. Corey might bet here now.
Corey bets 150. Marco calls. 3 of hearts on the river. That didn't read either, Train. There it goes.
There we go. Let's see if Corey makes another bet here. He may think his 7 is good the way his hand's gone.
I call.
Corey bets 350 and a call by Marco.
Played my lucky streak. My 3-2. My deuce 3 would have won.
And Marco's ace will take it down.
I did. I had deuce 2 to run.
The way that hand played,
In a hand like that, I should win.
Marco played it a little different. Corey just never put him on the ace.
Moskowitz to act first.
Probably a trap rock purpose. Right.
Paul Moskowitz with kings.
The downside is his hand went out.
Paul bets 175.
Gotta make
After all that hard
200.
thinking.
Paul bets 200.
I didn't realize what it was. Sorry.
good catch.
Max calls 200.
Max calls with the ace rag.
Suited Dan calls 200.
Suited Dan calls with the king 9.
Robert calls 200.
Max flops the diamond flush draw.
Paul firing with pocket kings.
Paul bets 600. Max calls. Action on suited Dan.
But he actually leaned over.
See how much Paul bets here.
I have another reason to hate people.
Paul bet 600.
Went running at.
He's absolutely price max in to make his draw. And he does not go for it.
Max goes
Maxwell.
to go.
Shit in a bag.
He was getting
And then
absolutely good odds.
tying it up and
And
throwing
the
it back.
train
That was
show-
cool.
Train shows us what would
I
have
mean,
hit.
what?
He would have missed. So it was a good
The
pull.
train said it'll I'm not right. At least if you don't wrap it in plastic, there's a chance it'll decompose in the next few weeks. But when you wrap the crap in plastic and then leave it on the trail,
You know what my guess is?
and there, I mean, I swear to God, there was about 8 of them.
Oh.
I thought, you know, one, okay, maybe somebody dropped it by accident or something like that. But
Because they're like being nice to pick it up, and then they realize.
Well, I'm
what
guessing
we
from
do,
the
I'm not very
trail
very well.
that they may have done that and then they're catching it on the way back,
I don't know, there was.
so they don't have to carry it on the whole walk. Yeah, well, you could put it off to the
Paul with
side.
ace 9 of hearts. Vermilion with
Well, they
ace
didn't
Yeah,
want
dead center of the trail.
Max
They're
with
waiting for
5
somebody
six.
to jog over it or
Ed
bike
folds.
over it or something.
It's always fun to play those little suited connectors.
It's like putting fiery coupons on the porch.
He just wasn't. I don't think he was in a good position to play him.
B Million raises to 250.
He goes off like about 2 feet off the trail. Does his business.
Robert calls.
Rob calls with 250 with the 7 and 8 off.
Off.
Moskowitz calls.
Yes, the key to that Paul is 7-8 off.
And out of position. And flops the joint.
And flops it. And he has to check himself. He doesn't believe it. As terrible as that
Moskowitz bets 325.
This is going to be hard for Paul to get away from. He has a hard time getting away from top pair with a big kicker.
B Million calls 325.
B
B
million.
million calling with something.
He's
And
trying,
Robert
he's
calls
gonna
also.
try and take this away.
8 of clubs.
That may slow things down a little bit.
Robert checks.
Robert checks again.
Moskowitz bets 600.
House, so. Nice.
B Million playing with Crafton's money here, not afraid to lose it.
B Million folds. Robert calls.
And it's a
And
chop
that's
pot,
7.
and B Million folded the winning hand. If he'd have called one more time.
Robert claiming he got counterfeited.
God.
Yes, he had to begin with.
God. I got there.
I was lubing Paul up
I got
so nice and sweet.
Down there. I got there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Calling
You
the
got
raise in
counterfeited
small blind.
twice.
Sometimes you get like
Runner, counter.
Rob slow played himself into a chop.
Oh, you
Wow,
thought about
that's pretty bad.
I thought about calling, but I don't know. It's small blind here.
Now you're even at a time.
Had Bobby stayed in the hand, he would have had a 10-eye.
If he would have called,
First act will be Max.
we got some chips.
Sitting there worried, all right, no more spades. I don't want to have to even sweat that. Not even looking at it.
See if Ed has a playable hand here in the big blind with this 10-jack suited.
Runner. All right.
Robert raises to 350.
Let me predict.
2-8.
Not even close.
We'll do that.
Ed letting it go.
Ed folds.
What?
That's not a hand I can fold in the big blind against Rob.
Absolutely not. Especially after Rob chopped that last hand. He's bound to raise with just about anything the next go round.
Can I call?
See Rob with a jack 8 here.
Paul Moskowitz with the ace deuce suited. Max with an ace 7 suited. Rob with the jack 8 suited. He's going to get involved. Yeah.
Robert calls 100. Paul Moskowitz calls 100.
See if he walks himself into a chop again.
Ed calls 100.
Ed calls a 2-5.
Max checks his option. Ed checks.
And Rob with the open-ended
Max
straight
checks.
and flush draw.
I'm sorry. Max does not check.
Is Ed in this again?
Yes.
Max bets 300. Robert calls 300. Moskowitz calls 300.
Moskowitz with the big flush draw.
Yes, I think if a spade comes and it's a 4 or 5,
This is gonna get ugly. I'll probably get there and lose, so I'll hurry it up.
Robert's going to get some trouble.
Ed folds
I love the confidence.
with a speed.
Got there.
5 of diamonds on the turn.
Robert turns it straight.
Did you check? Yeah. Okay.
Rob not going to slow play a straight this time.
Robert bets 600.
See if Paul makes this call here with the nut flush draw.
Paul going to win slightly under 1 out of 3 of these hands. So, run 3 rivers, Paul. You're bound to get one. Just hope it's this one.
Yeah, and once again, when Paul waits this long, it usually indicates a fold, but let's see.
Paul folds. Max folds.
When Paul makes up his mind to call, he usually does it pretty quick.
Sorry.
Too late. Too late.
Was it a spade?
It was an ugly card, that's for sure.
First act will be Mark Cuccifello.
I had you in spade.
First act was Mr. Crafton.
It will.
Oh.
First act will be Suited Dan. Our current chip leader, or point leader.
B million with pocket threes here. Let's see what he does. Well, Mark in front of him with ace seven suited raises. Bobby call there?
Bobby thinking about what he Bobby calls 250.
Corey lets the jack queen go.
And Corey lets a lot of big hands go.
Did you see that picture he tweeted from the hospital? I immediately thought,
Well, that hand shrinks up a lot too when there's a raise and a call.
Absolutely.
that's going to be a nice guy not bring it up, but Crafton broke the seal. So
Marco folds. Two players, Mark and Bobby B million.
Well, Mark flops top pair here after raising. I'm sure he's going to bet out.
Bet 300 by Mark.
350.
Oh, 350.
See what Bobby does. You gonna try and steal this? No, he lets it go.
B million folds. First sack will be Mark Cutrufella.
We see Dan playing pretty slow now with a short chip stack.
What did he show? An ace or queen?
See Corey with pocket tens.
Let's see if Corey raises here.
Dan would call it out. Well, no. I'll set mine.
Raised to 325 by Corey.
Two good fire. Set mine.
That ought to take it down. No, suited Dan sometimes defends with some strange hands.
All players fold.
I think if he had more money in this case, he might, but he's definitely on the drip right now. So
Anytime he makes a call, he's committing a lot of his, a big percentage of his chips here.
B million to act first.
Some book on multi-tail history online for one guy says he won't try to set mine with 20 seconds.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's a key to one.
I think it's higher than 10.
see B million with nines now.
Bobby's quad water.
Not too much else going on though.
3 seconds.
Raised to 250 by B million.
That should take it down.
Everybody folds.
Lines are okay. 75 and 150.
Blinds are now 75, 150. 18 minutes left in this blind.
So you're about 8 to 1.
Is the effort throwing more than one chip?
But then there's also the 1% setup per sec.
Robert with a suited 8-9 here.
Max with fives, Marco with jacks.
I think we could
Robert
definitely
calls.
get some action.
Suited Dan with an ace nine.
Yeah, but I think this is one Dan has to get away from. I think Dan's in premium hand mode.
Ed calls 150. Max calls 150.
I think we'll see Marco re-raise here.
150. Call around you.
In a raise.
I mean, you can make it if you want.
Marco announces a raise. Raised to 900. Suited Dan all in.
Yeah, I thought Dan might do that.
1275.
I'm not crazy about that with a raise and a re-raise.
1275 and all.
Can I raise if he calls or what? No, I can just call.
It's not a full raise. Action on Robert.
375, 150 is 5 and 4.
Robert folds. Action on Ed.
150 to 9. 650, 1275.
Ed folds.
Ace 9, same hand suited Dan.
Max folds.
Lost almost all his chips on earlier.
Suited Dan, our first place player, might be first out here today.
I don't know if I can put. I might put it too much.
Look, Dan.
Go ahead.
We've seen that ace in the window every other. Nope.
Ace from space.
And suited Dan looking for the rail.
Because I just threw 5. I mean, it would have been.
So Dan out in ninth place.
Chip count?
What place was he in again?
I could have raised it, right? I they were calling. I was going to jam it. That wasn't a
I'm in third.
You're in Mark's in third. I'm in fourth.
I was just trying to raise. You guys are friends. I try not to.
Blind out there, Rob.
Knock me out of the rear.
Down to 8 players now.
I was. If you, I probably jam if you call.
Big raise box.
By Rob.
Robert raised to 300.
No. It said blind out there, Bob, and for some reason I thought you said Bob, so I was thinking, oh, it's 153. That's fine. On my bad.
He's in third by. Something like that. It's pretty close.
I mean, I could get it since I put the money out, but
I'd like to welcome Suited Dan back
Hey,
to the
Dan.
announcer's booth here with us.
Do you want to hear the bad news? No, Bobby hit a 4-outer gut shot on the river on you. Yeah. You had him.
Corey
to the
calls.
river. He hit a 4-out gut shot on you.
We have a 10 Jack versus a 10 Queen here.
Yeah.
See, Corey raised to 750, and we had a call by Robert.
No,
If you turn Dan's mic on, we can all hear him.
he's not sitting down.
Oh, okay.
He's still
I
mad.
think he just wants to complain to us a little bit and then get out of here.
1,000 bet by Corey.
I think Dan's going to work.
Robert calls.
Round flops it. Straight draw.
And again,
Hits it.
Robert turns everything.
Action on
I
Corey.
think we found the golden horseshoe today.
Yeah. We're talking Rob Newman now.
Corey checks.
21.
2,100 bet by Robert.
Corey thinking about the call here.
I can have one battery.
Maybe next week.
All right, good announcers. I'm just sitting at a table and
And Suited Dan making the announcement. He's off to Cleveland.
Corey thinking about committing everything here.
Let's see you, Dan.
let's see it.
I think
Corey
there's
replays
just
the hand in his head.
I think there's too many hands that beat him that he's going to have to just let it go.
He's top tier open-ended.
Yeah, but he's calling that much to chop. It's just not a good play. Most
Corey all in.
Ships it.
Instantly
Robert's
called by
showing
Robert.
Play most of
the
the
lucky
time.
draw that he gets.
Corey was out now.
It's not over yet.
Don't chop, don't chop. Put an ace on the board.
5 of hearts on the river.
I was thinking.
Corey eliminated like 8
I'm freaking nuts.
Corey out in 8th place.
What a lot.
I swear I did.
Rob Newman.
I hear the clank. I thought he was talking to me, and I was like, oh, one
Cards out of position and off the rail.
says break after this round.
And then I looked at
Next one.
it's not horrible. It's not a horrible.
Right.
This time I'm going to blind.
Like, sorry,
First act will be Paul Moskowitz.
so big only?
Yes, sir.
Paul with tens, Ed with
Let's see
jacks,
if we have another elimination. 3 in a row here.
and B Million with ace queen. This could get big.
450.
Moskowitz raises to 450.
I think a call here from Ed definitely prices Bobby in with ace queen.
Absolutely. Maybe even Rob with ace 4.
Ed calls 450.
This in hand.
Can I see full?
Folds around to Bobby.
Raise 12.
Bobby raises 1200.
I think Bobby trying a little squeeze here.
Action on Moskowitz.
Moskowitz for 775 more.
Knowing how tight Paul is, and with Ed just calling, really opens up the door for Bobby to squeeze here, because he doesn't put Ed on that big a hand with just a call.
Paul with the right play.
Paul folds. Action on Ed.
And
Ed all
Ed
in.
with the right play.
4375.
4,375 more for Bobby to call.
See if Bobby makes his gamble here.
Welcome, Corey. Got a big hand brewing here.
Bobby calls.
Ed shoves with jacks. Bobby calls with ace queen.
I was in third.
There's an ace gone already.
Folded 10.
And I think maybe a queen, isn't there?
Looks like Bobby will have chips left, just in case.
Right. Exactly what I did. Minimum damage.
Pretty sick.
And Paul's
Trip jacks in the window.
With a straight draw for Bobby, though.
Bobby with 2 outs.
Wow.
Ed Wiggler takes it down.
I just thought you were on
So what were you thinking there?
I know.
He was super strong. Went for that
Paul, you raise, sir.
inadvertent raise. That
Wow, I'm glad I got out of that.
pretty weak. I was going to come over here.
You're pulling me much.
He hit the jack from flop 50. That had to be good. So just bet. And then, obviously that card wasn't a great card, but figured there's still a lot that he could
Yeah, it got me off the hand.
that was weaker. I was going to go for a check raise.
I almost
Then when you bet so big,
Action on Ed Wiggler.
we're not going to get him to lay down.
I thought Newman
have
would
to have
jump
the
on
best
that before
hand.
Crane would.
There's a lot of hands that gets you off.
It got a lot.
Not enough hands.
Every hand except that.
Yeah, as you can say, except that one, you're just drawing the chop.
Yeah.
In fact, I think it was a 1-outer to chop,
Yeah.
the way it turned out.
Marco calls 150.
Marco
Mark.
calls for 7.
Mark calls.
He just got kicked in the back by it.
Marco calls with ace 2. Sorry.
Jack ace queen.
If you go out next, it
How many callers?
We have a woolly mammoth in front of our camera.
Robert called from the small blind, and
No.
Paul checked his option.
Rob calls with 4-8.
Marco flops a set of 7s here. Let's see how he plays it.
Mark bets 325.
Mark bets a straight draw.
Are you going up?
Robert calls 325.
Robert calls with bottom pair.
He is.
He is. He's
The
going
way
home.
things have been going tonight, Rob will hit a 4 here.
His family are about this size.
All 4 here is no good.
Not high.
Well, I know.
Marco raises to 13.25.
Every possible combination. Marco raises.
Mark folds. Robert folds. Action on Max to act first.
Seems like the night for the real aggressive players are hitting early tonight. Let's see if they can keep it going.
See how Paul plays the Jack King off here. He's in the small blind. Very bad position after the flop, but let's see what happens.
Let me call it this little bit.
Paul calls 150.
Just you and me.
Whoa!
Oh my God.
It's all closed up.
Ed checks his option.
Both players check. Ace on the river.
He and Paul with the best hand.
Check. King high.
Damn, I'm out kicked.
That happens a lot with a 3. You get out kicked.
Oh, what a nice of a king.
Well played, guys.
I had a 10.
First act will be Marco.
I have real world things to do.
All right.
so
Well, we'll see you
have a good
next
evening.
week.
Well, no, because
Ace is 210.
we. Well, no, then the betting begins.
So Ed fired out.
Ed with an ace jack.
Yeah, exactly.
Not too much else. For
And just
now.
goes like this, and
Yeah, actually, Marco is more
and then I go
accurate.
ballistic. Marco is more accurate. Just the motion.
If he raises here, he should take this down fairly easy. I don't think Max will call with king deuce offsuit.
No, he should.
Raised to 475 by Ed Wiggler. Max folds.
Sometimes in that position, when it's just blind versus blind, I like to slow play those big hands.
I think Ed shows an ace.
Because the majority of the time, you're just gonna, the big blind's gonna fold, and that's all you win is the big blind.
Mark to act first.
And it's better than losing, but sometimes you can trap there.
Man, way back here. All right, I'll sit back. I didn't get hit the button, anyways.
Marco with ace jack this time.
My hand was like right here.
Mind the button? At least
It's like swatting
Marco with ace jack and the big blind.
Folds over to Paul.
That Dikembe Mutombo commercial.
I love that.
Oh yeah.
Not in my house.
That guy's he's freaking hilarious.
I snuck into one of the.
I think Max will try and limp in here.
Max calls 150.
Max getting punished on both of his blinds.
You know he's like,
Marco raises 500. Max calls.
Max snap.
yeah, he's like building hospitals and schools back in whatever Uganda or whatever the hell he's from. Seriously, like he's
Max checks.
literally one of the guys that just is all about doing stuff to other people.
But from where he came from, he probably started.
600 by Marco takes it down.
That's like LeBron. He gets back on. I know. You have to agree. Too bad he's not having his wedding in there.
Yeah. Married.
Huh?
First act is Bobby V. Million.
Like they're gonna have a wedding in September in San Diego. I haven't been there, but I heard it's from there. Like probably like oh yeah or something.
It's Paul's nightly shout out to LeBron James there.
I got 70 out that
Marco
way.
with ace 10 in the small blind this time.
300 now.
B million raises to 300.
Short stacked here with an ace 5 suited.
Their average high in the summertime is like.
Robert calls
70.
300.
Their average low is like 72. Yeah, it literally is. And in the wintertime, it's like 75 and 60.
Marco calls.
Why am I behind? Because we have awesome sports teams. Oh, no. Wait a minute.
Mark folds.
Very good fold by Mark there. He was getting close to try and call with just about everything.
Akron, you got
I'll check that. Yeah, I know. And who did that? Akron U because of Abreu.
He got busted for drugs.
Oh, 5 pounds a pop. Yeah. Pretty sure.
650.
Yeah.
B million bets 650.
South and undercover.
No, what happened, well, at least what I read,
Folds around.
dogs were sniffing at a place where the company does the delivery. And so when they reported it to the police, so 2 undercover cops acted as delivery men to deliver it to the house. And they accepted the package. And like, oops.
And that's like the second time he's had some kind of legal.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's why no matter what.
Oh, I didn't know he had one issue.
For all the ladies out there watching, you can see that this is when the men gossip at the poker table.
Well, I mean, he's given us second chances before, but yeah, but.
Folds over to Ed.
Or maybe particularly Paul and Rob.
Yep, last hand or last round before break.
600.
Raise to 600 by Marco. Takes it down. Blinds are up to 100, 200.
No, I was telling them. I have 3.
Not a whole lot going on here.
Hands like this might come down to the blinds. They tend to.
Well, Mark's on the button here. He might raise it. No.
B million calls 200. Robert checks his option.
Bobby's gonna. Yeah,
B million
Bobby
bets
will
200.
bet.
Robert folds.
Try and take it down.
If Robert doesn't raise pre-flop, he probably doesn't have a big hand in the big blind with Bobby just calling the small. So Bobby can definitely represent something with a flop like that.
First act will be Ed Burglar.
Rob with ace 10. Mark with
Pocket
jacks.
Max bets 600.
See if Mark re-raises the jacks here. Just
Mark
call.
calls 600.
That's pricing Rob in the call.
Robert calls 600.
And Paul, of course, not.
He just keeps the
The viewers assume that.
He doesn't have to say it. They have a Paul Poles soundbite in there.
Unless he says Paul calls or raises, they all. It's just a.
Paul would have thought middle pair here and been ahead. Well, behind Mark.
Got me. The favorite thing I heard by
See if Max continuation bet here.
He sounded like Zach Reed in the back of a police cruiser.
Max bets 1200.
He's Minnesota councilman and got his third DUI.
Mark all in.
Councilman for the ward in my
Mark
office.
pretty much had to go there.
Or, I'm sorry, not
46.75.
our office, but
Robert folds.
one of our satellites.
And Max will fold.
Max folds.
Max. jacks are like held up 3 times now. Oh yeah, that's like a reverse.
First act will be Max.
Bobby's giving reverse, you know, it's like a reverse tower. So he's giving reverse psychology advice. I just do the opposite.
See, I know that you can. That's why I tell you the right thing.
Ed with ace queen, Mark with ace queen, Rob with 9s.
Nine's a huge favorite right now.
That scene was pretty awesome. Oh, I just love
Mark bets 625. Robert calls.
And then the guy, and then the prince comes by and they order their head. I don't think Papa.
So it is.
Sure, okay. It's colorless and Hollywood. That movie is pretty classic. 425. And then he had to saw off his own foot. Oh wait, that was a bit.
Ed calls.
No, that guy was in Saw. The what's the face? Gary.
Mark checks. 1200 bet by Robert.
With 2 overcards on the board, Rob has no problem betting.
And Rob never has a problem betting. Especially when he's been hitting like this.
Ed folds. Mark folds.
Well, no wonder. That's the same 2 cards I had.
Robert for the win.
And they would have hit that straight on the turn.
No, I don't even know. I don't know.
It's the wrong mode. Is it luck first?
Buttons. Oh, I didn't say I didn't Buttons good. I had a pocket.
Mark go to act first.
Yeah.
Marco with queen jack, he folds. Not 2-3 million folds, queen. Not too much else going on here.
Robert raises to 800. Or, yeah, 800.
Rob raises with the 4-9 suited.
Folds around.
No. But then it was like destruction after. It's like, bang, 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 bang. It's like I'll say, Max getting all the cards.
11 minutes, 30 seconds left in the blind.
No, he's
Pocket pairs.
I had a couple hands.
He has a big hand before.
I had a couple hands on the first break and nothing afterwards.
Marco with a suited ace, Max with pocket 6s. Paul with ace 7 folds.
Raised to 525 by Ed Wurgler.
All in. 1275.
Max is all in for 1275.
Ed raised with queen 10, and Max moves in with 6s. Marco thinking about calling with ace.
Marco folds.
I think Ed's priced in calling. Ed priced in
Ed does call.
with the queen 10 offsuit.
Yeah, 200 more. I got 2 overs.
Yeah, good call.
I want to play. I had ace 4 of hearts.
See if the 6s hold up here for Max.
So I called Bob. Was I supposed to call with ace 4 of hearts?
Yes. You're supposed to ship it.
I was thinking.
Queen 10.
I don't know. I was thinking. I was weighing all the
And then
other.
you don't want everything.
Well, let's see.
Oh!
Now,
Play like me. You win. No! Big. Oh!
Upside down 6.
That's the wrong way.
And that's all she wrote for Corey. I mean,
Max
Max,
in
I'm
7th
sorry.
place here.
Yeah, whatever. You thought I was trying to squeeze that way.
I thought for sure they were going to hold up
That was
too.
good. That was like a level worse. And then when you felt, I was like, he knows that I squeeze, like I can squeeze right now. I don't know.
I know. It's a good thing. Actually, now Daniel's doing it.
But either way, I think it's
I
back
probably
call.
bust.
I need to fold
If I
out.
don't make that pre-flop raise.
Even if I know you
probably
know,
bust.
like, if you have any, even if you have pocket sixes or something, I'm like, still racing
Now
for
it's
half my chips.
Sometimes it goes straight down. That'd be real nice.
Raise five out of the small blind, and I already win.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to throw it.
Action on B million first.
But I would have lost some chips.
Raised to 450.
Well, you know what? I don't know if you're gonna, what you're gonna do, because you can raise the lower top if you want. I don't wanna just, because then I get to fold, and I only have 200 in there. For me, and I don't have anything until, I mean, I was right.
See Ed with a 3-5 of diamonds here.
But really, and
I think Marco's the only one who would maybe put up some resistance here with ace-6. And he doesn't.
Folds around, Bobby takes it.
yeah.
Tricky 6-gapper.
I don't play this.
3-9.
You know how to play every hand perfectly, Bob. Write a book, man. You got
You got nothing else? He's on tour. He doesn't have time.
I still want it. There was that book I wanted to do for you, but I'll tell you what, I would do that, the one I was telling you about a long time ago.
We have 3 players with sunglasses and 3 without.
Take the time to go through. Yeah.
One wearing him on his head. Yeah, he just put him down.
Oh, now the normal players are outnumbered.
Marco with 4s on the
Maybe
button.
you could like give it to all your fans.
He'll probably raise it up here. And get
What's
the
shipping to
resistance.
Europe?
Folds around to Marco.
No, he was shouting out to his contingency last night.
Raised to 600 by Marco.
So lucky, dude. You're so lucky I'm such a nit.
You're supposed to raise me there, Bob.
Yeah. Next time.
Welcome, Max, to the booth.
You know I have a perfect shove stack.
Another rough night for you.
Right on the cusp.
You played so well last week. What happened?
I don't know. I just played.
I was coming.
Raising, I mean,
I was coming.
what happened?
Moskowitz folds.
I'm real familiar with
He's making
that.
me quiver down here.
Paul's very familiar with the losing end of things. You'll fit right
Usually,
in.
isn't that Paul?
After I made that.
You can't keep it.
I said, isn't Paul usually the one making
I mean, I realized.
Mark
I realized
calls.
after I made that bet when I king 10 a couple hands ago that when I looked at it, I was like,
9.
800.
Raised to 800 by Robert.
Hindsight is 10-10.
Well, that's the only way you learn.
Mark folds, Robert takes it down.
I think it could be a wild evening tonight, the way Marco and Rob are hitting, though.
We got these like hat levels.
Rob with a suited ace here.
B million of 4s.
Ed folds. Action on Bobby B million.
Let's see what he does 4s here in a small blind.
Going up, kids. 450.
450 is the bet by Bobby
Oh,
B
I'm sorry,
million.
that was the button.
Snap.
Robert calls.
Yeah, Rob's got
Moskowitz folds.
It's a tall fold button.
Good flop.
Poor Bobby. See if he bets here. Then he just checks.
Ace on the turn.
And that gives Rob the lead.
3 on the river.
Oh, wow.
And Robert checks
Oh, I
again.
thought Bobby had 3s here for a second.
What do you got for him?
Actually, yeah, for some reason I thought he had 3s also.
Fair enough. You play that for the track.
I mean, whatever. But look at my chip stack. I bet the flop and the call.
Well, what about the reverse implied odds? What's your M?
What's your Sklansky button?
See Paul with an ace jack.
SPR.
See what Paul does here.
Paul,
They don't know where the
Paul
ball
raises to
raises.
400.
It
I
should
fold.
already-
They already announced to the fans.
Yeah.
Fold. Oh, wait a
I
minute.
fold. I raise, but I fold.
If I jam from the button, I don't think it's
I'm not sure what's taking
Pre-flop?
Ed so long to
No,
fold.
not, I would have folded pre-flop.
But I still have,
Ed calls.
Calls with 10-3
You
off.
have a good, what do you have, like 4,000?
4,000. Well, I'm just trying to, I always like to think of how I'm playing.
Okay. Yeah,
Flops top pair.
Paul checks.
Shove it through the button.
Ed betting top pair here.
That's all they had. I counted.
350 bet by Edward Ward.
Yeah, it's somewhere. But I didn't want to commit myself, just in case you want to play.
Right.
I don't know if you pulled the flop either, if I did.
I already decided if you bet, if you win anything short of all in, I was coming over the top.
Yeah, that's a good one. I've been sick and then I snap call. You're like,
Oh, taking forever here.
yeah, man.
Oh, curious if Ed flops a set.
think out loud.
It's right next to me. Everything you say.
I think Paul folds here.
Oh, what? I heard that too. Oh. Jeez, that's a nice ball.
Once again, when he takes forever, he folds.
So, the top.
Button's good.
Looks like it's a night to play garbage, huh?
For most of these guys, everything is a night to play
Oh,
garbage.
How's that with my
I played the Monopoly match
That's my
last night
fault for
on
memory.
the way I'm playing today.
It would have been more.
I think a little bit.
First act will be Mark Kucherfella.
What are you talking about? Like you're playing Monopoly?
We used to play risk. We used to play risk.
Ed with queens now. Bobby with ace 10. Rob with ace 7 suited.
Take longer than one out to
You can. 450. I haven't played that in a long time. 450 is a bet.
B million raises to 450. A call by Robert.
Buckle, Robertson, man. First.
Once again, Rob having an ace, he can call just about every time.
Let's think about raising here.
Action on Ed. Ed raises to 1500.
That should be enough to take it down, I think.
Bobby
I don't-
folds ace 10.
I don't even think Rob's going to call with ace 7 here. Yeah.
Robert folds ace high. Ace on top.
Nice.
Ed shows his queens.
Nice.
Don't show them they made a good play.
A lot of showing cards going on today.
Well, it's just 3 bucks.
1 minute to break. 1 minute to
Yeah, I would have kept the call.
Yeah, I'm sure. I thought about it, like, man, I don't know what to do with this thing.